a podcast for everyone. Time to chat and have some fun. Shawk Talk, Shawk Talk. Shawk Talk, Shawk Talk, Shawk Talk. Shawk Talk.
And welcome in, everybody. Happy Shawk Talk Tuesday, everyone out there in the world that is not currently on Twitch. We are recording live here on Twitch, speaking of Shaka08, for anybody that would like to watch the live recordings. And we've got a new episode today, episode 15, guys, of Shawk Talk Tuesday, for anyone that's not in Australia as well. I'm super excited to announce today, folks, we have a really special guest here today. All of our guests thus far have all been streamers in some capacity, content creators in some capacity, and I guess you could argue you're a content creator to some capacity. We'll get into that in a second. But what I know him primarily as is a former student, guys. That's right. We have the first ever on any platform here, guys. First ever former student of mine as a guest for today. So I'm super excited for this. Anybody that's out there and is like, you aren't actually a real teacher, well, you can suck it, because I am a real teacher, and Bl1ndn3rd here will confirm as much, guys. So anyway, got a great guest on the episode today. How's it going, Bl1ndn3rd? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I've been thinking about this, been ready to hop on the pod, so I'm happy to be here.
Nice, man. I'm glad to hear that, sir. For anybody that is unaware, is brand new here, guys, we are a podcast that premieres every week. We do it weekly, with the exception of the next 3 weeks. I'll get into that in a moment. But we do this every week. We have a new rotating guest each week, but we always talk about the same 5 general topics. We have sports, gaming, music, cinema, and then food/drink. The details of each of those categories changes from week to week with our guests that we have. We've got 5 great topics that we're going to be talking about here today, though. Before we get into that, though, Bl1ndn3rd, why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourself? I mean, obviously, you're a former student of mine, but give the people some background about you. What do they need to know?
Sure. So my username everywhere is Bl1ndn3rd. You'll probably see me playing some video games, occasionally on TikTok, rarely on Twitch, but I've done it before. I play video games. I also play a lot of like card games. I play a lot of Magic the Gathering. I play Dungeons and Dragons. That's kind of my big thing that I've been into. I said earlier 5 years, but I think it's more like I've been playing probably since I was 17. So it's been a while. And those are the big things about me. I also was your student. So I was a band kid. I played the clarinet. I think that's important for everyone.
Yeah, everyone needs to know. That tells them the personality right there. Clarinet player? Okay, got it, locked in. We have a lot of people on the channel that are not only musicians, but also, like, we've got a couple band directors actually as well. So whenever they find out that you're a clarinet player, that's all they need to know. It tells them everything they need to know about you. But I'm glad to have you here, man. I'm super excited for this. It's going to be fun getting not only, a former student's perspective on some of these things, but I think here's another important aspect of this, a much younger person's perspective. Like, most of my guests are usually in their mid-30s or later. I don't want to dox your age, but I'm going to. You are much younger than that. Do you care to tell the people about how old you are? You don't have to give them the exact number if you don't want to. It's up to you.
That's fine. I will be 24 this year.
So there you go. Yeah, much younger take on some of these topics, guys. So it's going to be interesting to hear the difference between. Technically, I'm a millennial, but I would argue I'm more like a Gen X. And then are you Gen Z?
I stopped counting.
I don't know when Gen Z and Gen Alpha start, so I get a little confused on that. I would assume you're Gen Z, though. But,
yeah.
But it should be interesting to hear some of the different takes on this. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get things started with our first topic this evening, which is
the spread on sports.
So the way this works is we have in this case, a spread. We'll get into the spread here in a moment. For anybody that's not familiar with spreads, spreads are where we take an over-under. I'll explain that a little bit later. Hi, Aussie Mike. I'm getting trolled by the chat right now. Thank you for the resub, sir. But our topic today, folks, is kind of a World Cup versus NBA. So right now, there's kind of three big things happening in the sports world. There's the NBA Finals, there's the Stanley Cup playoffs, which is Stanley Cup Finals as well, and then there's the World Cup that's going to be coming up pretty soon as well. So, we're going to be talking today a little bit about the World Cup, which is upcoming, and the NBA Finals. The reason I picked the NBA Finals over the Stanley Cup Finals is simply because that's the more popular sports platform. So I think it's a little more interesting to compare the two. Anyway, what we're talking about here today is what is more likely for us to watch. So we can talk about us individually, and then we can talk a little bit about as a country/world as well. I think we know the world answer. But for you, at least, Blind Nerd, which one are you more likely to watch, the World Cup or the NBA Finals?
So I famously am not that big of a sports person, but between the two, like I pay attention to things as they happen, especially big events like this, like the World Cup or the Finals. I'll probably tune in to both at different points, but probably the World Cup is what I'm going to pay more attention to.
Yeah.
I'll probably watch some of the NBA Finals, mostly because I like to check in, mostly to see who wins. I don't really watch the full games.
I get you.
But yeah, I know that I'll watch some of the World Cup because I like to see like some of those events are so massive.
Oh, yeah.
And the turnout is crazy. So I like to pay attention to like the advertising, the marketing around those kinds of things.
Oh, that's right. Because
I'll be watching that.
You said you're in like the advertising and marketing kind of thing with school, right?
Yeah, I'm doing this sort of like jack of all trades business major thing, but I've been focusing in on marketing and advertising and like social media stuff as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where my focus goes to when I see those events. So like there's tons of events that I don't really care for the actual like event itself, but more the how did this happen? Where's it happening at? That kind of stuff.
So you literally
and I tune in.
You literally watch the Super Bowl for the ads.
Yes. The Super Bowl's a little different.
Yeah.
I feel like even though I'm not a sports person, I really enjoy watching the Super Bowl.
I get that. Yeah, that's funny. Like you are the the personification of that standpoint there. So let me ask this. So you said you're more likely to watch the World Cup. I'm the same way, to be clear. I definitely will watch, as best I can. I'm going to be on vacation through a large part of this, so I may not be able to watch some of these games. But if I have the option to, I'm definitely watching the World Cup over the NBA Finals. Are you going to watch any games other than Team USA?
Probably not.
Okay.
If I'm gonna tune in at all, it's gonna be Team USA. Maybe that's selfish, but that's where I'm from.
I don't think it's selfish. I think most people probably will just tune in for Team USA. I mean, unless you're like a big soccer fan, and even then, I think at least here in the U.S. Like again, I have a soccer background. I played soccer in high school. I played for 13 years. I coached it. So even for me, like I'm still only gonna really tune in for like the big games. Like England versus whoever, France versus whoever, Spain, Brazil. Some of the big names. I'll tune in for some of their games. I don't actually know what the groupings are right now off the top of my head. I have to look into that. But I'm intrigued to see where people stand on that. I imagine obviously most people are going to be Team USA only, but some people I imagine will watch other games too. Let me ask this too, because this is going to kind of lead into our over-under as well. If Team USA loses out the gate, they lose the first game, the first match, are you done watching?
Probably live. Yeah, definitely done watching live.
Wow.
I would tune in to see the results at the end, but I probably would fall out after that.
Ouch. That's a fair weather fan right there. One game and you're done. Wow. I feel like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think most people are gonna be the same stance. Like you're not the uncommon denominator here. But I think back to, I don't know if you were old enough to watch this game or not. The Landon Donovan goal against Algeria, like So they were playing at that point. They had a chance to make the next round, beyond the round robin phase. But like, if I remember correctly, I think they lost the first game, and then they came back to win the next games, and were able to make it in. They tied. I think they drew on the second one, so they had a real low chance of getting in, and they ended up beating Algeria, and chips fell into place, and they were able to get in. But that was single-handedly one of the most exciting moments of sports viewing of all time for me. Like I literally, I remember I had an apartment at the time, just like a single person apartment, and I was watching it, and that goal went in, and I just ran around screaming in my apartment. My heart rate was so high, like I was just so excited, and I just feel. Here's where I'm going with this. Like I feel bad for anyone that's going to take a one and done approach. Because then you might miss out on opportunities like that, like where if you're saying like, I'll just watch it, the replays and stuff. Like you might miss out on this incredible opportunity to see an incredible game like that. Like I feel like you could potentially miss out. But you could argue the same thing for the finals too, the NBA finals as well.
Yeah.
But let me ask this: do you think? So you said you're obviously watching World Cup primarily. I'm watching World Cup primarily. What about America? I think we all know the world is going to watch the World Cup. That's pretty obvious. What about America? Which one do you think America's more likely to tune into?
I want to say I feel like more people here are going to tune into the finals in America. From the vibe that I get from just like my peers and my friends, that's more relevant to maybe just my age demographic.
Yeah. I can see that. Well, here's the other factor too. So my demographic, my age group, I should say, not demographic, my age group. So we had the Landon Donovans, the Clint Dempseys, Tim Howard. Like we had a pretty strong group of players, in those World Cups. And you could argue that like Christian Pulisic is a pretty strong player right now too. But outside of him, it's a really young team, and honestly, I don't know any of the names other than Christian Pulisic, and I'm a soccer person. Like, so I think that not only is it a generational difference, but I think also it's just the fact that this current U.S. team is very young and very unknown, and so it's kind of hard to hype it like you would have with that second, because that Algeria game in particular, I believe, was their second World Cup that they had been together with Clint Dempsey and Landon Donovan and Tim Howard. So like we knew those names, we knew they had the potential to be pretty good, and they they delivered for the most part. So, but versus this, I feel like a lot of that is not there like there was before. So I think that's part of the problem. I won't say problem, but part of the effect of it as well. But also, let's be honest here, it's America, right? America doesn't really like soccer that much.
Yeah, it's not really that. Not as big as it is for other countries, certainly not.
Yeah.
But
so the world definitely is going to watch the World Cup over the NBA Finals, though. Yes.
Oh yeah, certainly. I would imagine so.
All right, so we're pretty solidly in agreement on a lot of that stuff. So here's where I think it might get a little bit more controversial. So we have the over/under for this category. The over/under for today is 1.5 wins for the USA men's team. And just to be clear, in case anybody is not aware of how over-unders work, Ram, we pick a half so that you can't pick a tie. So you cannot pick one, you cannot pick two. It has to go either above it or below 1.5. And to be clear, draws don't count as a half. Because I know that's what Ram would be saying right now. Is a half worth a draw? No. It's wins exclusively. So, do you think, Bl1ndn3rd, it'll be over or under 1.5 wins?
Is this what I think or what I want to happen?
Think. We can say what want afterwards, but what do you think?
Probably under. It's just the vibe I'm getting from the knowledge. Obviously, like I said, I'm not into it that deeply, but I still have like surface level.
Yeah.
I'd obviously prefer to not be under, but that's if I was putting money on it, it'd be under.
Yeah. So your heart is over, you said, though. Yes?
Yeah.
So my heart would be over as well, but realistically speaking, so I think 2 is possible, is the way I'll say it. I think 2 is possible. but I think it's far more likely to be the under. Here's why: because we should get one win minimum. Because with the brackets, the way the brackets always work, unless you're in a group of death, which again I can't name the teams that we're with, but I know we are not in a group of death. We should be able to get at least one win pretty easily. Probably will lose a game as well. So then it just comes to a question of, do you win or lose or draw that third game?
Yeah.
They'll probably draw, knowing them. So, because usually in most round robin cases, if you get a win and a draw and a loss, you'll move on past the group play, which is what they want. That's their big thing. So I suspect it will be under, because I think it's going to be one win, one draw, one loss, and it gets them through, which is still a success for Team USA at this point in the game. But I'm definitely going under as well with you. Totally on board with that. And I agree. Sween's in chat. Sween says the women's team, yeah, they would definitely be the over, without a doubt. Without a doubt. By the way, for anybody that is unaware and was watching this after the fact, we do live stream this, guys, over on Twitch. So if anybody would like to participate in the live chat as we are doing this, feel free to check out Shaka08 over on Twitch and join us for the live recording of this. All right, with that being said, let's move on to our second category, which is
Galaxy of Gaming.
This one's a little bit more in your wheelhouse here, Blind Nerd, and I'm intrigued to get your thoughts on this. This is not something we have crossed before, because everybody that I've known is a digital person, basically. We are all content creators and live streamers, and so we all do digital gaming. But Blind Nerd's background is largely in analog gaming, and I feel like this is going to be a really cool discussion to have here today, guys. So our statement for today, the gaming category is a reasonable or ridiculous statement, which I'll get to in a second here. The statement is analog gaming is better than digital gaming. To be clear, analog gaming would be anything that is physically manipulatable, like card games, board games, Jenga, anything like that. Anything that you physically manipulate to play the game is a analog game versus, and I know people are going to be like, well, a controller is a physical thing. Well, no. The actual game is on a digital screen. So therefore it is a digital game. It is not an analog game. Yeah. Versus digital gaming is anything that you have digitally speaking. So great question. I agree, Sweens. This was one when he mentioned D&D. I was like, oh, I know where I'm going. This is going to be great. So first of all, you come from a mostly analog background. Yes, you do digital gaming as well, though, correct?
Yeah, I would say though at this point, I do a lot of both, and it's very even.
Gotcha. So kind of the same boat. I've obviously played a lot of analog games when I was younger, back before digital gaming was a thing. But even then, most of my gaming is currently definitely digital gaming. I really don't play any analog games anymore. But I like Monopoly, freaking slaps. Loved Candyland back in the day. Card games, we play a lot. We play a lot of poker. I like poker a lot. Lots of different card games and such while we're at camps and things like that. Having a beverage or two. Definitely love analog gaming a lot too. Even though I am kind of in the same boat, I probably do more digital than analog at this point. Which one do you personally like better?
It's a hard one, but I think it's gonna have to be analog.
Okay.
I think I've dedicated so much time to analog games. Like, obviously I said D&D, I said Magic, but I also I have a massive board game collection. I love board games. And I think just sheer the amount of money I've invested into analog versus digital is significantly higher.
Really? So I didn't realize analog games were that expensive.
Board games and Magic both can be very expensive. Some of my favorite board games have been $40 to $50. Okay. And I mean, Magic the Gathering, well, it's also the game aspect. I play a lot of the collection based of trying to get expensive cards and opening packs and stuff. That's a lot of money. So
I hear. So let me ask these two questions because some of this I'm very unfamiliar with. Obviously, like board games I've played before, Jenga, that kind of stuff. But D&D and Magic the Gathering. So let's start with D&D first of all. I'm at least familiar with that because I've watched Stranger Things, and I know that that is heavily based off of it, and they play it in the show. Have you watched Stranger Things?
Oh yeah, I love Stranger Things.
So is that an accurate depiction of D&D? Because I've never played it.
I would say, yeah. I mean, D&D can be a lot of things. But I always describe it to people at the end of the day, it's you are telling a story with your friends. And the game itself is just sort of I would almost say restrictions. That's not quite the right word, but kind of restrictions to force you to move through the game, like story in a certain way.
Oh, I got you. Interesting. So it's more of like a story night. Okay, I could see that because is it the Dungeon Master? Yes. Okay, that's in charge of it. They're the ones that basically like tell the story, right?
I would say that there's a dungeon master and then there's the players. All of them, I would say, are telling the story together, but they have control over very different things. So the players are usually like the main characters of your story, and the dungeon master kind of facilitates the world itself and other characters they'd interact with.
Oh, okay. I got you now. I think I understand better now. That's cool. See, that's an aspect of it that I didn't necessarily pick up from Stranger Things. Like I could tell that the dungeon master had a large influence on the storytelling, but I didn't realize that the individual players were kind of like, in control of their own actions and story as well. I did not realize. That's really cool then. That sounds like that's really neat. Like it's like a role play game.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, now that makes so much more sense to me then.
Yeah, there's also some like very good like I don't know if you're familiar with Baldur's Gate 3.
I have not played it because I knew it was not up my alley.
Fair. But that is very much the closest you'll get to a digital version of D&D.
Okay, interesting. Now. I might have to give that game a try eventually then. I'm not usually a big RPG fan. Like Final Fantasy is not like I've played one of them. I didn't love it. It's just not my wheelhouse as much as like ARPGs like God of War. I'm a big fan of that.
Sure.
Ghosts of Tsushima, stuff like that. I'm a big fan of. But I might have to give that a try then. From the sounds of it sounds like it's pretty fun.
That's a very long time investment to play through Baldur's Gate 3.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, a lot of the streamers that I know have played through it multiple times. Even like they put a huge time commitment into it. Now, Magic the Gathering. This episode is educating Shaka guys. Magic the Gathering. I'm sort of familiar with this because I know people can stream this. It's basically a card collecting game / you battle each other, right?
You kind of battle each other is the easy way of saying it. There's a lot of different formats with it, but there's a bunch of 2-player formats, and then there's like 4-player format is Commander, which is what I play. And it's pretty much, everyone has a life kind of total, your health, and you're playing cards that are like summoning creatures that you could attack each other with, essentially.
So is it kind of similar to Final Fantasy in that regard? Like in Final Fantasy, I feel like you kind of pull up different characters, if you will, or allies is probably the better word to use, and then summon their attacks and things like that. Does it work kind of like that?
I think it's definitely comparable.
Okay.
Like I think that if that's a better way to understand it for you, there's some similarities.
Gotcha. Are you familiar? Are you familiar with Pokemon?
Yes.
Is it kind of like Pokemon?
I would say yeah. I think there's a bunch of different ways to play Magic, though.
Okay.
So I always describe it as creatures fighting, but there's other ways to defeat your opponent without creatures entirely.
I gotcha.
But that's the way I always say it is usually you build a deck of like 100 cards for Commander. And all of them kind of are trying to do something to help you kill the other players.
Interesting. Okay, I have an important question before we finish this topic off.
Sure.
Pokemon or Digimon?
So I liked Digimon a lot when I
Yes!
was younger.
Digimon!
I feel like there's just not enough Digimon content in the world.
I agree wholeheartedly. I agree. I'm so
Uh,
glad to hear that.
I love both of them. I think Digimon needed to be more mainstream, and I always say it's kind of like the edgy older brother of Pokemon.
I love it. You just validated one of my big tier ranking streams that got really heated. I'm so glad you said that. Okay. All right. So we've talked a lot about analog gaming in particular, but I think that we've discussed digital gaming extensively here on this channel. So, and on these podcasts. So I think everyone's pretty familiar with all that stuff. So final statement here, sir. We didn't really talk about the difference between the two, but anyway, analog gaming is better than digital gaming. Reasonable or ridiculous?
I'd say reasonable. I
That's
think that
I
a lot
suspected.
you could do.
I suspected as much.
I mean, I like both. I don't think I'd be okay with just one or the other,
Mhm.
but
Mm-hmm.
I've just put so much time into my analog gaming that I need that, and I get a lot of enjoyment from the different things I could do with it.
So for me, this is a real tough one because even though I grew up analog gaming, I'm definitely team digital gaming for the most part. Like that's what I do now. I don't do any analog gaming at all. But as we're finding out in many studies that are coming out, digital stuff is not always great, guys. There are a lot of downsides to it. No downsides to analog. So analog gaming is absolutely reasonable, guys. Gen Z, you can suck it. How do you 8 on that? 8 on that. Clock that, guys. Did I say that right? Did I use that phrase correctly? Probably not.
I'm gonna have to send these clips to your other students.
Oh,
but-
good Lord. They'll end up on Twitch at some point. Yeah, that's one of the platforms right now. Some of them are blowing up from this. So anyway, but you heard it, guys. Both of us agree reasonable. Analog gaming is better than digital gaming, confirmed, guys. You heard it here first. All right, third topic of the evening is
Musical news aids.
welcome in, Ellie. By the way, sorry, sound alerts randomly that are getting me thrown off, guys. All right, music. So for the format for music, guys, we do an A versus B. So gaming was reasonable, ridiculous for the statement. This is an A versus B comparison. And this one I think is going to get a little spicy as well because both of us are very one-sided on this topic. So it is, who appreciates music more? Instrumentalists or non-instrumentalists? Real quick, before we get into the details of this, I'm going to ask you this question first before I give my answer to this.
Sure.
Do you consider vocalists to be instrumentalists?
I mean, I don't think so.
Good. Break their hearts. They deserve it. Vocalists are not instrumentalists. Confirmed, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they are not the same. Fun story. I'm going to make so many vocalists mad right now. Fun story. When we were in college and we were studying music, so the non-music majors were just called non-majors. Like they just didn't have a major because they were not worthy of having majors since it wasn't even a music major. And then the vocalists were the non-music majors because vocals really aren't a real thing when it comes to studying music. So we just called them non-music majors. They would get so pissed at us. But anyway, we are definitely instrumentalists by trade. And Sweens, I agree. That's a really good statement. That's a good way to put it. An instrument is something you play. You don't play vocals. I'm 100% with you on that in chat there, sir. Well said. Okay. So now that we've established what's an instrumentalist, what's not an instrumentalist. First of all, do you think it's possible for an instrumentalist or a non-instrumentalist to appreciate or not appreciate music as much as the other group?
Yeah, I think it's definitely possible,
Okay.
right? That I think that you latch on to different things in music when you're listening to it based on your history and connection with it.
Interesting. So, because I know right off the bat, it's like, so when I start putting out some of the shorts from this discussion, and even just putting out this episode itself, some of the most common responses I'm going to hear are, "It depends on the person. It depends on the person. It depends on the person." They're going to say, "Well, just because you're an instrumentalist doesn't mean that you appreciate this more. Just because you're a non-instrumentalist doesn't mean you appreciate this more." And you raise a good point. Like, you can be drawn to different things as a listener. I totally am on board with that. But many people are going to say, well, this question's null and void because each person appreciates music in their own way. And I don't completely agree with that, which is my point of this question.
Yeah.
Are you with me on that?
No, I'm definitely with you on that because I feel like there's just something to when you are an instrumentalist, like you said.
Mhm.
Like, I feel like when you're on that end of it, where you've gone through and you understand music, and you're listening to music with that mindset, and like you've played, in your high school band, that maybe when you're listening to any song, there's just a little bit of you're like, oh, well, I can hear how they did this, or I know how they did this, in a way that most people aren't going to really pay attention to.
I am so glad that you said that because, like, I felt like I was going to be just the mean old person that everyone was going to hate because I had a bad take, and you are 100% with me, and I feel vindicated for this. Like, like there is like a good way to compare this is what are you drawn to more, lyrics or instrumentation? And most instrumentalists, of course, tend to say the instrumentals. I would love to say the vocalists are drawn to the lyrics, and that might be true. But the reality is the non-instrumentalists are drawn to the lyrics because they don't know shit about music.
Yes.
Like, all they know about is, this makes me feel good. Like, and they understand the lyrics, and that's all that they get. That's all they get from it. And like, when you're an instrumental, like, so here's a really good take that, like a tangible way I can explain this. So I've explained in a couple of my reaction videos about what a key change is and how a key change can uplift you, in particular if you're raising the pitch of the key. Like, it feels uplifting to you as a listener. You as a listener, yes, can feel that uplifting aspect of the song. You can appreciate how that makes you feel, but you do not appreciate and understand in detail what is happening and why that is making you feel that way. Versus an instrumentalist, and to some degree a vocalist. You could argue that a vocalist would understand this, but an instrumentalist definitely is going to understand, oh, that was a key change. I know what they just did there. Like, it's just a whole nother level of appreciation, right?
Oh yeah, 1,000%. And like, speaking to this of like most songs, a lot of songs that you might hear on the radio that are just popular, if you listen to the instrumental beat behind some of them, a lot of them are just the same.
Yes.
And there's not really anything new or interesting happening there.
Right.
But like, for this specific point, a thing that I jump to, because of like, I'm also like a very big film and movie guy, is like movie scores and how those, like, because those are communicating to you, like, those are telling you a story through the key changes and each decision that they make. And you're feeling some way, even if you don't know why you're feeling some way. The person who wrote that music made those decisions, and like, it's a really cool process to be like, oh, I'm gonna make this decision about this piece because I need to convey this feeling to you.
Right. Well, so even not only even in terms of what they're writing, but even the actual instrumentation, like what instruments they're choosing to have that solo or that moment musically, So for instance, even just like, so we obviously have a pretty strong Star Wars background here, but like the Mandalorian and Grogu has just come on. I have not seen that. No spoilers, please. But even the show, The Mandalorian, when they were creating the theme for that, Ludwig Göransson, he was told, we want something that sounds, Western-y, but also new and unusual and outer space-y. And so his goal was, okay, I need to create this melody that sounds kind of Western-like, but I need some way to convey that is unusual, that people aren't used to. So it sounds like it's from another world. So he picked up an alto recorder. No one in their freaking right mind, even music teachers, don't know what an alto recorder sounds like. I had no idea what it was when I first heard it. Like, but that's again, just you, a listener, are not going to understand that nuance that goes into that instrument selection that he used to convey that feeling to you. Versus if you're an instrumentalist, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that's a great choice. Oh, I understand why they wrote that with oboe, or why they wrote that with E-flat clarinet, that kind of thing. Like the actual tone and voice and character of all of those things is something you just don't get if you're not an instrumentalist, in my opinion. I'm so glad you're with me on this one. I'm so glad. Like, so I still can't believe that you agree that the level of appreciation can be different from these two groups, first of all. And then second of all, so you are officially, let me put it out there again, just so it's official across the board.
Yeah.
Who appreciates music more, instrumentalists or non-instrumentalists? You are choosing?
Instrumentalists, 100%.
100% instrumentalists here too as well, man. 100%.
And I was actually going to say I just saw The Mandalorian and Grogu. I won't spoil.
Oh, did you? I've heard, give me a non-spoiler feedback is what I'll say.
I think if you enjoy the show, it's a good movie.
Okay.
I think that there's a lot of hype around it, and scores aren't coming back great.
Yes, from what I've seen that from critics.
Yeah. But I think if you enjoy the show, the movie's great. But the thing I wanted to point out was talking about the score. No spoilers, but they do some really interesting things with the theme for different scenes.
Ooh. I don't know the answer to this. Do you know if Ludwig Göransson did the actual scoring for the movie?
I believe he did.
Okay. Well, that means it's going to be good right off the bat. I remember, so when Mandalorian was the first time I ever heard his stuff. But then there were so many other instances, and Sinners is the prime example I'm thinking of here. I watched that movie, and I heard that epic music scene is all I'll describe it in case anybody has not seen the movie. And I knew immediately. I was like, this is Ludwig Göransson. Like his understanding of just so many different genres of music and how to create such an emotive aspect of music. He's so good at it. I could just tell immediately it was him. And then when I saw the end credits, I was like, I knew it. I could tell it was him. Like, so I'm excited to hear the music for it. Just to hear his scoring. Like, I just love his stuff. It's so good. Anyway. All right, guys, you heard it here. Instrumentalists appreciate music more than non-instrumentalists. Fight me. Tell us in the comments why we are right and why you have such terrible takes.
We're going to get canceled.
It would be the first time. All right, moving on. Next topic we've got
scintillating cinema.
All right, so this should be a little bit more lighthearted, but still semi-controversial. I think everyone's going to appreciate this one regardless, whether you can appreciate music or not, the previous one. So the way that the cinema topic works, guys, is we have a thumbs up system for this. We have 2 thumbs up, 1 thumb up, 1 thumb down, 2 thumbs down. Obviously, 2 thumbs down being terrible. You want nothing to do with it. You think it's horrendous. 2 thumbs up being great, awesome. You can't get enough of it. Sometimes this is about just one particular thing. Like if we were talking about just a movie, then we would just talk about that. But this one's a little bit different because it's going to be comparing movies. We'll get to that here in just a second. So, you are a big Spider-Man fan, correct?
Yes, love Spider-Man.
I am as well. I grew up watching the 90s cartoon is what I'll call it. I know there's been many versions of them, but that's kind of where I got my first love of Spider-Man. I actually was more of a fan of him and then the X-Men than I didn't even know what the Avengers were until the movies started coming out. I had no idea what they were because like those were my two things. That's all I cared about. So both of us,
same here.
both of us,
So-
big Spider-Man fan. Nice. Okay, so the MCU movies at this point for Spider-Man have wrapped. At this point now, they're going back to Sony for Sony production. We've obviously seen some Sony movies. We've seen like Venom, for instance. They had Craven that came out. Have you seen any of those Sony movies that are not Spider-Man?
So I've watched the Venom movies. I did not watch Craven. I kind of got pushed away because I saw bad reviews. And I have watched Madam Web, which I've heard is horrible. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, but I didn't look into it too deeply when I watched it because I was like, oh man, these are all these other Spider-Man characters. This is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so I have not seen any of those side projects. I haven't seen any Venom. I haven't seen Craven. I haven't seen Madam Web. Like I it's not that I'm like don't want to see Spider-Man stuff. You know what I mean? Like I'm a big Spider-Man fan, but I want to see Spider-Man. Like I don't want to see Venom. I don't want to see all those other characters. I want to see Spider-Man and those characters. I love Venom. Venom was my favorite storyline from the 90s cartoon series. So I definitely want more of him, but I want them with Spider-Man. Like, so
Yeah.
for me, that's a big thing. Anyway, we're both big fans. We both are pretty knowledgeable on the background of them. The statement for today with this is Sony Spider-Man movies will be as good or better than the MCU Spider-Man movies. First of all, do you agree that's a pretty high bar to achieve?
Yes, because and I was gonna actually ask you this: what is your favorite Spider-Man movie?
Ooh, that's a really good question.
And is it an MCU Spider-Man movie?
That's a really good question. Boy. So, I mean, No Way Home was just incredible. Just
Yes.
absolutely incredible. But that doesn't happen without the previous Spider-Man generations, to be clear.
100%.
So the Andrew Garfield ones, definitely not the best. Nothing against Andrew Garfield. I think he's a phenomenal actor. I loved him in Tick Tick Boom. Sorry, he was great in the Army nurse movie. I forget what it's called.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Phenomenal actor, but just those series of 3 movies were very bad. The OG trilogy of Spider-Man, though,
The Sam Raimi with Tobey Maguire.
yeah, man, so the first one obviously was amazing, and without a doubt, Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe, he is the Green Goblin. Like he was such a good villain, and we saw that again in No Way Home. He was so good in that role. But I actually, of those 3, I preferred the Doc Ock Spider-Man 2 the most. I actually like that one the best. So for me, of the original trilogy, it's the Doc Ock, it's Spider-Man 2 versus No Way Home. I'd love to pick Spider-Man 2 for nostalgia purposes, but No Way Home is just objectively a better movie. It really is. It was just so good. How about you?
So I love No Way Home, obviously. I
Yeah.
saw it in theaters 3 times, I think, when it came
Oh,
out.
wow.
My little brother loves Spider-Man, so we have to go to every Spider-Man thing. I grew up on the Sam Raimi, though. Like, the first Spider-Man movie was, like, on repeat in my house when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Like, because that was also, like, that was my introduction to superheroes, was that movie.
Right.
And I don't think the only thing I ever followed it up with was when the first Iron Man movie came out. But I was Spider-Man everything.
Yep.
So I would probably say I'd probably say the OG Spider-Man,
The original one.
first
one. Okay.
Yep. It's so like I've been a part of, like, that's been
Mm-hmm.
so a part of my journey through like nerd stuff for my
Yes.
entire life. But I will say that I also in the MCU really like Spider-Man Homecoming, the first one with Tom Holland.
It was, that was also really good.
I think that was your first Spider-Man movie after, Amazing Spider-Man bombs
Mhm.
and trying to come back from that Sam Raimi trilogy. And I think the Vulture was a really good villain in that movie. I think
yeah.
the scenes were really tense and good.
Michael Keaton was such a good, I don't even want to call him a villain, because he's more of a, oh, what's the term? Like Venom. Oh goodness, it's escaping me.
It's kind of like an anti-hero.
Yes,
I
an
guess.
anti-hero. Thank you. Yeah, he was more like an anti-hero in my mind than he was a villain. I mean, obviously in that movie he played a villain, but
Yes.
like in one of the after credits scenes that we see, Scorpion, confronts him on whether or not he knows who Spider-Man's real identity is, and he doesn't dox him. Like, that's not something a villain would do, like Kingpin would out him in 2 seconds. So he was more like an anti-hero than he was necessarily a villain.
I really like in that movie the Vulture acknowledging that Spider-Man stopping him isn't because like he exists as a force and Spider-Man's going to come after him because he knows what he's doing is wrong to some extent,
Mm-hmm.
but he doesn't blame Peter for it.
Right.
He's like, obviously you would come after me. This is messing with the neighborhood.
Right.
But in his mind, he's like, I'm doing this for my family.
Right. Well, it's kind of like, so again, with the MCU, with Thanos, like, not that we agree with what their motives are, but we understand their motives and we can understand why they act on those motives. Like, I think that's what makes such great villains. Which I think, so like, it's interesting to me because like, I think that the Green Goblin was such a great villain with Willem Dafoe. And while, yes, his motivation to become the Green Goblin made sense, the villain of the Green Goblin is just psycho. He's just crazy. He's like the Joker. Like, there is no reason behind what he does, but he's still a great villain. Like, that's just cool that there's two totally opposite ends of the spectrum with that.
But so we got to tie it back to the Sony thing.
Yes.
Obviously.
So both of the MCU has some strong suits. Sony has some strong suits originally as well. First of all, yes or no? Let's just do yes or no right now. Do you think Sony Spider-Man movies will be as good or better than MCU movies?
So, as someone who's seen a few, I'm gonna say no. I wanna be hopeful. Is the next Spider-Man movie that's coming out in a month and a half, 2 months?
Yeah.
Is that under the Sony umbrella?
I believe so. I'm pretty sure it's Sony.
So, I'm worried about that one.
Mm-hmm. Yes. As am I.
But I would like I have not seen a Sony movie. Like, the ideas of what they do are cool. And the movies that they've made have been, like, on paper, I'm like, that's cool. I'd go see that. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, they're so messy structurally.
Yep.
And that just hurts them so much. And I haven't really heard, other than like the animated, like the Into the Spider-Verse. Those are the only Spider-Man ones they've really done that have, and that's like one of the greatest movies of all time, I would say.
The Spider-Verse movies are phenomenal. That was something we probably should have considered in this as well, to be honest with you, how the Spider-Verse movies compare. But that's a whole other thing.
I have to keep them separate in my mind because I feel like it's hard to not say they're just the best.
Yeah, well, it's also animation versus live action, which are two very different platforms. So I think that makes sense. For me, again, just yes or no to this question. I'm saying no. I think Sony will not be as good or better than MCU movies. I just think there's no way you can top what they did in the 3 movies, particularly No Way Home. With that being said, so now let's break it down a little bit more than that. Thumbs up here. So 2 thumbs up means obviously a yes, but you're like a super strong yes. 2 thumbs down is a no, obviously, but like a hard no. Like they're gonna tank. There's absolutely no way. Where are you at in the thumbs up of this? 2 thumbs up, 1 thumb up, 1 thumb down, 2 thumbs down.
I want to say just 1 thumbs down. If we're including this next movie, I've seen trailers that make me feel excited,
Yes.
and I'm not upset about the things I'm seeing. I saw the cameos already. They're gonna have Punisher in there. That makes me excited.
Yeah.
I had just watched the Punisher special on Disney Plus too. So
Was it good? I heard it was good. I have not seen it.
oh, it's really good,
Really
and
good?
a lot of action too. Very much Punisher just doing
Just
cool
doing stuff.
shit.
Yeah.
Like,
I love it.
so.
I think I'm with you on that as well. So I'll be honest with you. I'm torn between 1 thumb down and 2 thumbs down because, like, not only the last Spider-Man movies, which were the Amazing Spider-Man movies, not only were they really bad, but all of their offshoot movies like Venom and Kraven and all those have been horrible. So,
Yeah.
you know what? Actually, the more I talk about it, I'm going to go 2 thumbs down. I think they are going to fail miserably compared to MCU.
And I think that's a valid take. I think that's Sony has been trying to make what I like to say are like side stories that you could watch as like companions to the MCU and Spider-Man.
Yes.
Because they're not canon, because they're in a different universe, but it's just like, oh, these are those characters, these are those villains. And I just feel like they swing really far, like we're going to go do something crazy. And I think they had this big hope that they were going to build their MCU out of just Spider-Man villains. It's just not happening. They need to just focus on a self-contained Spider-Man villain story and just work with that. Or even just other, like, there's tons of other Spider-Man characters that they have access to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that I'm sure people would like to see, like, a side movie that's just of one different Spider-Man character that's not trying to do all this crazy stuff that their other ones are doing.
So you might say that Sony is like Spider-Man who's out of web fluid. He's swinging and missing.
He is swinging and missing.
Or web block if you're the OG Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire. Did he? I forget. Did he ever have web block? He did, right? In those movies, I think it was the 3rd one where he had web block.
Yeah, he had web block.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's like such a common Peter Parker arc.
Yeah, I knew it existed from the cartoons, but I couldn't remember for sure if it was in the movie. I think it was because he was having the whole self-identity crisis, and then that's when his web block stopped. Yeah, that's right. Got it. Well, let us know in the comments, folks. First of all, are you excited for the Sony Spider-Man movie coming out in July? Are you? I don't think we asked that question. Are you excited for that movie?
I'm excited.
Okay. I am as well. I will watch it.
I like Tom Holland.
Yes, I think he's really
I'm
good.
Hopeful that he'll carry whatever happens.
Hopefully. Let us know, are you excited to see the movie, first of all, guys? And do you think it's going to be as good or better than the MCU movies? What are your thumbs up ratings and thumbs down ratings on this? Are you like us and thumbs down? Or are you more on the hopeful side and thinking thumbs up? I'd love to hear your thoughts on the matter, folks. That brings us to our final and definitely much more lighthearted topic for our podcast, which is
Tiramisu tap room.
So, since Bl1ndn3rd is from Pittsburgh, clearly, as you guys can see up there, I am from Pittsburgh as well, for anybody that's not familiar, we are going to be talking about everyone's favorite in my channel. They all love this so much. We're going to be talking about Pittsburgh Foods, guys. Pittsburgh staples of foods, to be clear. This is like iconic. You can only get it in Pittsburgh type thing, or at least it's famous for Pittsburgh. Most of this is you can only get it in Pittsburgh, but some of these are famous in Pittsburgh. I can hear Sweens in chat already just throwing up. He's from Baltimore, so he hates all of this stuff. Anyway, so this is a tier ranking. For anybody that's unfamiliar with tier rankings, folks, we have different categories. S tier is the top tier. That's the absolute best. A is very good. B is good. C, or what we call here Canada, it's just okay. And then we have the D tier, which is terrible and nobody wants it. It's like being in Baltimore. Speaking of. Now, the only thing is, hi, sweets. The only thing is, for this podcast, we add a little layer of flavor to this, if you will. We are only allowed to put one item in a tier. In most tier rankings, you can put as many items in any tier that you want to. There's no rules on that. But here, one item per tier. Makes things a little extra spicy, if you will. So, Blind Nerd, our 5 items that we have here for our tier ranking are, and they're all foods, by the way, Primanti sandwich, Pittsburgh salad. I'll explain what that is in a moment. Same thing with Primanti sandwiches for anybody that's not familiar. Pierogies. I think most people will know what pierogies are. Chipped chopped ham. I'll explain that in a moment too. And then Beto's. It's pronounced Beto's, not Betos, right?
It's Beto's.
Beto's, yeah,
I
thank you.
call it Beto's.
Yeah, Beto's pizza. Again, I'll explain that in a moment too. So
We're just speaking a different language to
yes,
them.
right. I'm not always known for my pronunciation skills. Let's be honest here. I say majority all the time, and everyone's like, "What did you just say? What word did I say? Do you know?"
Majority?
Yeah. Okay. So you do say it the right way. Okay.
If I'm like not focusing on what I'm talking about, the accent will slip. Pittsburgh-y.
It comes out as well. Yeah. The majority of us say it the right way, guys. Anyway, so let's walk through these 5 things. Let me explain what each of these is first, and then we'll go over our tier ranking for these. So a Primanti sandwich, folks, for anybody that is not familiar. Yeah. Caulk versus cock. How do you guys call it cock and not caulk? I don't understand that. You're walking around being like, I need some cock, guys. That's a totally different story. If I walk into Lowe's and be like, I need some cock. Bad. I'm getting arrested. It's caulk. Sorry, I blame chat. They're getting me off track here, guys. All right, Primanti sandwich. First of all, for anybody that's not familiar, Primanti sandwich is basically fresh baked bread. You have fresh baked bread slices, typically from Mancini's Bakery around here. It's not always Mancini's, but that's typically what it is. You'll then have meat of some kind. We'll talk about that in a second. Then you have French fries. Yes, you heard me. French fries. And then you have a vinegar-based coleslaw on top of that. First of all,
Is that weird outside of Pittsburgh?
yes, people
That's
freak.
crazy.
People freak about the idea of French fries being on a sandwich.
I had that today. Like,
Yeah. Well, so yeah, we talk about it on my streams all the time, and people are like, "What is wrong with you guys in Pittsburgh?" But then, like Deshelm, one of our mods, he came and he visited it, and we went to Primanti's, and he was like, "Yeah, this shit's really good." like they questioned it, but once they have it, it's like other things that I'm not going to get into on this channel. Anyway, once you try it, you won't go back, guys, so to speak. Anyway, first question before we get into the tier ranking of this. So, of the different meats that you can get on your Primanti sandwich, which one do you get?
I change a lot.
Oh, okay.
But I get the Pittsburgher one a lot. That's just the burger meat.
Okay.
Very normal
Yeah.
for me.
So the number 2 bestseller behind alcohol, yeah.
Yep. But I also they have one that's like, it's like a ham and bacon one. So
Okay.
I get a lot of ham there as well.
Okay, interesting. So I actually hot take a little bit with this. I think the Pittsburgher. So the Pittsburgher, to be clear, guys, is like, it's like Salisbury steak is the way I would describe that. It's like a beef patty, but it's not really a burger. It's more like Salisbury steak. I actually think it's trash. I think that is terrible. Like,
Okay, so now you're ostracizing Pittsburgh audience too.
I know, right? Yeah. Listen, I'm just good at pissing everybody off. But yeah, that's my least favorite of all of their sandwiches. I think it's really, really bad. For me, I prefer the lunch meats, especially here's where people miss out. So you got to go capicola first of all. Need a little bit of spice to your ham, and egg. So it's not on the menu. There's no cap and egg on the menu, but they all know if you say I want a cap and egg, they know what it is. It's capicola with an egg, a fried egg added onto it. It is, next time you go, if you've not had it, you got to try it. It's the absolute number 1 best sandwich.
Definitely gonna have to try that one because I'm not used to ordering off menu.
Yeah. You got to go off menu. But like, it's funny because they all know. Like, it's just a very common thing. Like, and to be clear, for anybody that's not familiar with Primanti's, you're allowed to add stuff onto your sandwiches. You can do that. It's just because it's not officially on the menu as a cap and egg, people don't know about it. But if you order cap and egg, they're all like, oh yeah, they know what it is. So anyway, cap and egg for me, Pittsburgher for you. All right, where are you putting Primanti sandwiches at?
Oh, we're just jumping right into it.
Oh,
Okay.
we are.
Oh, I like Primanti sandwiches a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Why?
probably not my most eaten thing on this list, though. I used to live very close to Primanti's, within walking distance. When I was first in college, there was one within 5 minutes from my dorm.
Is it the OG one?
This is the one in Market Square.
Market Square. Okay.
So, and I also worked there across the street from. So I was there quite often. I've kind of fallen off of Primanti's, and they've also been closing down lately.
Right? Tell me about it. The one by where I live closed. I'm so mad. Actually, both of them. There's arguably two. They both closed. Not happy.
Yeah. So I would say. So D's the worst one. I don't think it's in D. I'm not going to do that.
I don't like where this conversation's going right now.
Oh man, it's honestly probably like C tier.
Get the out of here! What? How can you call yourself a Pittsburgher? Get the out of here with that nonsense. Really?
Listen, I think there's only one other thing on this list that I think I would, in terms of what I eat the most, there's only one thing I'd put below it right now. And I like all the other things a lot more.
That is bananas to me. Swedes, you could suck it too, sir. You liked Primanti's. Sweet, to be clear, Sweens is from Baltimore, which is why I'm ripping Baltimore. He came up as well. We did a Pittsburgh versus Baltimore stream, and he acknowledged Primanti's is really good. We got Primanti's when we met up at the OG Primanti's. Although he did get the Pittsburgher, that was his mistake. But it's really good. I cannot believe where you're putting this.
I think you'll be surprised at like what my top is for this. Where do you put Primanti's in your list?
It's S tier.
This is your top?
This is absolutely the best thing on the list. Not even close.
Oh, that's insane.
No.
That is crazy.
No way. It's absolutely. See, even Deshelm agrees that he's not from Pittsburgh. No way.
Man.
I could maybe see if we were arguing like iconic, then I could maybe see putting something else above this. Like I would probably argue that pierogies are more iconic for Pittsburgh than Primanti sandwiches are. But we're talking about the better food. Like the better food is a Primanti sandwich. You haven't had a cap and egg. This is the problem. I figured it out. This is the problem. You haven't a cap and egg.
Okay. We'll get one the next time. We'll test it out. Now, I want to be clear. I think if we were allowed to put all of this in multiple tiers, I think everything here for me is A tier or higher.
Well, you're not allowed to do that. That's too easy.
if we were just going foods across the, I think everything here is an A tier. But in this order, I think Primanti's it's got to be C.
Man, Canada, you have got to be happier than you have ever been in your life right now. To think that a Primanti sandwich belongs to Canada is that's just bad crazy. Like that's all I have to say. Man, that's nuts. The chat is all over the place on this one because some of them are team Primanti's that have had it. Some of them are not because they're not from Pittsburgh and haven't had it primarily. If you guys out there in YouTube and Spotify and all that jazz have had Primanti's before, where are you putting it in this tier ranking and where are you putting it at in general? If you don't have limitations, are you putting it in A tier like Bl1ndn3rd said? Where are you putting it at in this particular tier ranking? Please tell me that it's S tier and you are not all eating Pittsburghers by mistake. and making life choices that are not good. Oh man, I can't. It's Canada.
I was okay. I considered B tier.
This
I considered
podcast was
it.
going so well. I
It was
like,
almost in B tier, but I mean, Permanis is it's good. It's good. I think I would pick some of these first, though.
man, Baby Girl agrees with you, but I think she is slightly biased if I am guessing correctly in who Baby Girl
No,
is.
not at all. Not at all. What do you
All right.
mean?
Let's move on to our second one, guys. So, Permani Sandwich, let us know again, guys. S tier, C tier. Wow, where are we at on that one? Hopefully, you're with Team S on that. Next up, we've got Pittsburgh salad. So, to be clear, guys, a Pittsburgh salad, it's a salad. It could be kind of any salad that you want it to be. Typically, I think in Pittsburgh, it's got a meat on it of some kind. It's going to have chicken or steak most of the time. A lot of times, we will include hard-boiled egg as well. That's not always the case. That's kind of an Eaton Park staple that kind of became a thing. But most of the time, we're going to have a hard-boiled egg. But the thing that is consistently true, Chad is mad right now, it is that there are French fries on the salad. Yes, I am serious. For anybody out there that is like, shut up, stop making things up. No, we legitimately put French fries on our salads. Not croutons. We don't do croutons.
No.
French fries. Legit real French fries. Not the little sprinkly, crispy onion French fry things. Real deep fried French fries. If they're from Kennywood, it's extra bonus points. But French fries on a salad. That's the way that we'll describe this here. Where are you putting this in your tier ranking? Do you like your fries on salad?
Oh yeah, I do 100%.
Yeah. See?
There's this used to be like my staple after work. I'd go to Sheets and I would order a custom made salad.
They have really good salads, surprisingly.
They have great salads at Sheets. And I think the Pittsburgh salad, most people probably get usually steak in them.
That's usually what I'm getting. If I'm ordering it somewhere, yeah.
When I get it at Sheets, I actually get a buffalo chicken with the fries.
Yes, let's go.
So Pittsburgh salad's pretty high for me. I really need to think about what the future of this list, because it's already controversial.
And that's what I mean. That's why the whole one item per tier makes this interesting. It makes it a lot more tricky.
I think it's probably gonna sit at my B tier though.
Okay.
So it's the next step up.
I'm okay. Oh man, I'm torn on this one. Okay, first of all, I am team Pittsburgh salad as well. I love French fries on my salad. In fact, fun fact for anybody that's not aware, because I don't think I've talked about this on YouTube before, or on the podcast for the matter. But I've lost 25 pounds over the past 6 months, and I'm eating salads more than I ever have in my life. And like I'm eating probably 2 or 3 salads easily a week, and most of the time I'm putting French fries on there. Sometimes I may not if I'm doing a little extra carbs through something else. But most of the time I'm putting fries on my salad because it's amazing and everybody should do it. Yeah. I prefer steak. I'm with you on that. If I'm ordering out, if I'm cooking it at home, I'll do chicken. I'll do like a crispy chicken.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. But for me, so I'm really torn between A and B on this one. I think it's amazing. I love it. I'm eating it all the time now, so I kind of want to put it in A because of the other one that I would consider putting into A. But here's what I'm going to do, and I'll explain why when we get to the other item, because I have to kind of talk about it with the other item. I'm going to put Pittsburgh salad in B because of very specific reasons. I'll explain when we get there. But for me, it's really good. I absolutely love a Pittsburgh salad. I love steak and the egg and the fries all together with the salad. It's just so freaking good. Ranch dressing. Are you team ranch?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Easily a B for me. So I'm gonna go with you on that one. I'm glad we're in agreement on that. B tier for Pittsburgh salad. Everybody in chat is so mad at us and does not agree with us at all, except for Baby Girl. Welcome to Baby Girl. I'm glad you're here. You other than your Permani sandwich take. That was Let us know in the comments, folks. Do you think, first of all, have you had Pittsburgh salad? And if not, or if you have, do you think Pittsburgh salad is a good thing, a legit thing, having fries in your salad, or is it ridiculously insane? We could bring this back to reasonable or ridiculous. Fries on salad, reasonable or ridiculous, guys? Let us know in the comments. All right, moving on to our next item on our food tier ranking list here. We've got pierogies. So I'll go first on this one because it kind of ties into my point with the Pittsburgh salad. So if you are just buying standard store-bought pierogies, so like Mrs. T's pierogies, it's worse than a Pittsburgh salad.
Agreed.
And to be clear, I get like cheddar and potato. This is a whole nother good question. Let me say this first before we get into this. A pierogi, for anybody that is not aware of what a pierogi is, I just assume everybody knows what pierogies are because they're not just a Pittsburgh thing. They're just really, really popular in Pittsburgh. A pierogi is basically like a dumpling is what I'll describe it as, except it's a thicker, breadier dough.
Yeah.
But it's like a dumpling, and typically you put something in it that's like a potato. You can put lots of different things inside of it, but usually it's potato and cheddar is at least what I typically have gotten in the past. That's kind of my go-to. What's your go-to filling in a pierogi?
Definitely the potato and cheddar. On this specific point, I recently had one that was like a seafood pierogi.
Oh.
And it was like a sort of crab meat kind of mixture and cream cheese.
Oh, that would be good.
I went to like some festival and there was a food truck there. And they have a restaurant out in Greensburg. But yeah, they do these like seafood pierogies and they're pretty cheap and they're very good.
Sweens, I have an idea. Sweens is in chat, to be clear, everybody. Next Pittsburgh versus Baltimore meetup. We need to do Old Bay pierogies. Old Bay pierogies. You see where this is going? Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that sounds like an amazing idea. Crab meat, like a Maryland style crab cake inside of a pierogi. Let's go. That sounds amazing. Yeah. That's cool, man. That's a really cool idea. That whoever created that, shout out to them. Do you know what the name of the food truck was by chance?
They have a location in Greensburg called Bubba's.
There we go. Bubba's food truck, guys. Check them out if you're ever in the Pittsburgh area. They just created something new and amazing. Okay, so anyway, so my preferred is potato and cheddar. And if you're getting store-bought, it's definitely worse than a Pittsburgh salad. But if you are getting like homemade, handmade pierogies, so I'll use an example that's local to us called Peppers and That. Theirs are not made in-house in the store, but they get them, or at least they did. They don't now. I was so mad at them. They changed. They went to some store-bought crap.
Yeah.
But they used to get it like sourced from an actual good person that made them by hand. And oh my God, they were so good. Like, just unbelievable. And so when we did our Pittsburgh Baltimore cook-off, those were the pierogies we used. They were actual handmade, homemade pierogies. Incredible. If I am getting those, it's A tier. If I'm getting store-bought, it's probably Canada, to be honest with you, because it's just You can still spice it up a lot. Like, don't get me wrong. My one buddy, he likes, I don't like it, but he does, so he'll do the store-bought, but you could obviously substitute it with good stuff as well, but he'll put the pierogies and kielbasa and sour cream, I think is what he did. Yeah, sour cream into a crock pot.
Okay.
And then just mix it up, and that's what you eat it as. And I actually did not like it at all. Like, I much prefer the old-fashioned, just, fry it in butter and onions. Have you ever had the kielbasa and sour cream version?
I've definitely had that before. I've had a lot of pierogies.
Yeah.
I love pierogies. They're great. I like that version. Like, I like that with like a protein with it too. And yeah, I love pierogies. This is probably my S tier.
Oh, okay. Okay, I can see this being S. I'm not super mad about that.
I've had a lot of different homemade pierogies. The peppers and out ones you talk about are the ones I'm thinking about specifically for this.
Yes.
Um, so this would be my S tier out of this list.
Mm-hmm.
I will never. Frozen ones aren't great, but I will never turn down a pierogi. Honestly.
Yeah, yeah. So to be clear on my point as well, like even the store bought ones, I say they're Canada. They're still like if they're cooked correctly, like in a bunch of oil with onions, browned onions and stuff with it, it's still like an A tier food. Like it's still amazing. I still absolutely love them and would eat the. In fact, I had them today for lunch. The cafeteria had them. Like whole grain pierogies. Whole grain pierogies are terrible. I still absolutely that up. Like I absolutely loved it. Like giving me that all day long. Let's go. But I am going B tier or A tier. Sorry. A tier because homemade pierogies do trump Pittsburgh salad. Your S tier,
Yeah.
we're pretty close on that one. I'm not mad about that. Let us know in the comments, folks. Have you had pierogies, first of all? And if you have, what is your preferred filling? What do you like best in the filling? Are you cheddar potato, all over onion, jalapeno how? If anybody is a Pirates fan, you guys get those references. All right, next up, chipped chopped ham. So specifically, this is an Isley's thing. Isley's is the brand, the company that did this and kind of originated this idea. I think most people have had chipped ham before, probably. I think that's not just a Pittsburgh thing. So there's chipped ham. Chipped chopped ham is very, very similar, but a little chunkier. Am I correct in saying it that way?
Yeah, I would say it like that.
So it really got famous because of Isley guys and a lot of the steel mills, steel mills for anybody that's not from Pittsburgh. Sorry, steel mills is how we say it.
The Stillers.
Yeah, the Stillers. But basically, it's a sandwich. It's real simple. It's a sandwich with this like finely chopped, finely chipped, if you will, ham. For me, when I'm eating this, it's that and mayo. I keep it real simple. I don't go anything fancy with this. What do you put on your chip chopped ham sandwich?
Something simple like that.
Mhm.
I mean, any kind of ham is just a ham and cheese for me. Like,
Ooh,
I don't do
it's not
many
bad.
toppings. Ham, cheese, and then usually mayo.
Nice. I like it, sir. So this one, I mean, we can kind of get straight to the point on this one. There's not a whole lot of variance to this compared to some of the other ones. Where are you putting chipped ham in your tier ranking?
This was the first thing I could easily. I do think of this list. This is my D. This is bottom. It's not bad. I think it's great.
Yep.
But everything here is better.
Yes. So it's funny. I say yes to that, and there's a bit of an asterisk to that, which I'll get to on the last item. But for me, I'm in the same thing. It's not a bad thing. But this is the first thing on this list so far where I would say there's a limit to how much I could eat. Like, I could eat a permane sandwich every day. I could eat a Pittsburgh salad every day. I could eat pierogies every day. Chipped ham sandwich, I couldn't do it more than one day. Like, it would just get really boring and stale and old really fast. I love it for, like, I don't fish anymore. I hate fishing. But I used to go fishing with my uncle back in the day when I was younger, and we always got, the staple was a chip-chopped ham sandwich for lunch. He just packed some chip-chopped ham, some bread, just made a real simple sandwich. I would just put my mayo on it. That's all I ate. But it was like pure happiness because, you're with your family, you're hanging out, it's guys' weekend, fishing, and I eat this really simple, manly sandwich. Nom, nom, nom. Like, it's just good memories. I could not do that every day, like, to be clear. So I'm with you. D tier all the way. Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things. It's like everyone at Pittsburgh has had one at some point.
Mhm.
So like you gotta mention it, but
Yeah.
it's not like, even though permanis is, but it's not a permani sandwich.
Yeah, it's definitely not a permanent. So yeah, anybody that is not clear with the difference here. So I don't even know. Does Permanis even do a chip chop ham?
Probably not in that way.
I don't
I'm sure
think
they have
they
a
do.
regular ham sandwich.
Yeah, but I think those are just sliced ham. I think because they tend to stack those
Yeah.
pretty tight. Yeah, I don't think it's sliced as thin as a chipped ham. But yeah, the two sandwiches we're talking about are very, very, very different. Everybody that's not familiar, sure. All right. Let us know in the comments if you're from Pittsburgh. If you're not from Pittsburgh, you're going to have no idea on this one. But if you're from Pittsburgh, where are you putting chip chop ham? Our last one, I think, is probably the most controversial. It's been featured on a lot of cooking shows and stuff because it is so weird. And technically, I believe this is called an Ohio Valley style of pizza.
They always want to steal from us.
They do, right? Freaking Ohio, the armpit of America, as we like to say here. So this is Beto's Pizza. Beto's Pizza is, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, because I've never had it, actually. I've actually never had Beto's Pizza before.
Oh, that's crazy.
I know, right? I have not had it, though. I've seen it. I'm well aware of what it is. I've just never tried it. So that was my asterisk, by the way. Beto's Pizza is your dough. It's kind of a thicker crust dough, correct?
Yep.
Not, I wouldn't say true Chicago deep dish. It's more like Sicilian style. And I don't even think it's all the way Sicilian, right?
No, it's just a thicker pizza.
Yeah. So it's just a thicker crust pizza, guys. It's not all the way Sicilian. It's not all the way deep dish. Just thicker crust. Then it is warm sauce, correct?
Yes.
Warm sauce.
And if you're talking about Beto's specifically, they have very chunky sauce.
Yes. Very chunky, but warm sauce. And then this is where it gets weird. The toppings, including the cheese, are cold.
Yep.
So you cook the dough, you cook the sauce, and then you pull it out of the oven, and then you put the toppings on cold. And you don't just sit there and wait for it to warm up and melt. You eat them cold. The toppings are cold when you eat the pizza. So that is Beto's Pizza, guys. Ohio Valley style pizza. I have not had this, so I'm going to kind of defer to you on this one. You've had this before, yes?
Yes, plenty of times I've had Beto's Pizza.
What are your thoughts on this? Describe it. How good is it? How bad is it? What do you think?
So I've always liked the cold toppings. I've made pizzas my own, like at home that way because of Beto's before. There's no other place that I've gone to that has cold toppings, at least that I know of offer it. But Beto's was always, this was another thing, like we would pick it up like after driving around, like running errands all day with my family, and let's go to Beto's Pizza. Let's go to Beto's Pizza. And every time when I was like,
Sorry,
but
say
it
that
was,
again. You cut out a little bit. Every time I was what?
When I was younger, I'd look at it and I'd be like, this is weird, right?
Okay.
This is, but it was always like, I always liked that pizza. I liked the cold toppings. Their sauce was very specific. It was kind of like a sweet but chunky sauce.
I am team like chunks of tomato. I like a real authentic sauce. So I wouldn't be mad about that. What toppings do you go to for that?
I like it just normal, just cheese pepperoni.
Okay.
I definitely prefer cold pepperoni because of it. So Beto's is definitely very good, and I believe from the way I made my list that made A tier.
A tier, wow. Okay, so that's pretty high up. That is really very high. I imagine. I'd be intrigued to hear what people that are not from Pittsburgh say about this, because everyone that's going to be, they were pretty shocked, I imagine, by the Pittsburgh salad being ranked as high as it was. But then we got to cold pizza, and you put it in A, and they're going to be like, what? For me, I've not had this before, so I have to rank it purely based on what you're describing and kind of what I could imagine it tasting like. First of all, it's above chipped ham, because chopped ham is just not that great. So it's going to go above that. It's pizza. It's going to go above that. Which means for me, the next question is, does it go above Pittsburgh salad? And the answer is no. I like Pittsburgh salad. I have in B tier. I would probably prefer a Pittsburgh salad over cold pizza. Technically, it's hard to say that because I haven't had it before, but I think I'm going to keep the Pittsburgh salad in B tier, and here's why. There are more warm things on a Pittsburgh salad than there are on Beto's pizza. So, therefore, Beto's pizza belongs in Canada because it is cold in Canada. So,
You know?
Beto's pizza is going into C tier for me, and Pittsburgh salad is staying in B tier. There you go. High scientific approach, guys.
Now, would you say that you were interested enough to go try Beto's pizza sometime after
I
this?
definitely would. Absolutely. So I've seen it all the time on different TV channels and stuff, not TV channels, but cooking shows and things like that around the Pittsburgh area and such. I definitely would like to try it. So that's one I want to try. And then another pizza joint, Ironborn Pizza.
Yes, I've seen that one.
So I know of it being down in the Strip District. It's in a couple of other places too. The reason for that, I've heard it's good, but also too, the owner of that restaurant is actually somebody I went to high school with, and I was like, "Oh, that's so cool!"
Okay.
Yeah, he started that business, and it's really big now. So Pete Tolman, shout out Pete Tolman. So I just thought it would be really cool to go see it and see what he's done with it. So that's another one I need to go try at some point in time. So, but yeah, no, I'd definitely give it a go. See what it's like.
What is your preferred pizza, like either place or specific toppings?
Are we talking just Pittsburgh or anywhere?
I'd say just Pittsburgh. Keep it on topic.
Okay.
If you have a preferred restaurant or preferred just toppings you like on your pizza.
I don't know that I have just one pizza place that I would choose above any others. So obviously being in the East Hills, Veltries is one I always liked a lot when it was closer to me. If I'm picking probably the favorite that I've had ever, though, probably Fiore's would be my number one.
That's my pick too.
Yeah, Fiore's is really good. That's in the South Hills, to be clear, for anybody that's not aware. Or at least I call it the South Hills. It's kind of borderline.
South Hills.
Yeah, it's a little South-ish. But
that's
Fiore's is
very
probably my number one.
greasy, big pizza.
Yeah.
They have good sauce though.
Yes, they're probably my number one. Toppings, I'm your standard cheese, pepperoni. I can do meat pizzas. I can do supreme pizzas. I'm pretty flexible on toppings. So nothing married there. Now, for opening it up to Chicago deep dish, it's a different story. I love me some Chicago deep dish. Giordano's all the way, baby. But yeah, that's another topic for another day. There you have it, guys. There is our tier ranking for the Pittsburgh Foods. Let us know in the comments, where are you putting Beto's Pizza? Is there anything on here that is egregiously bad? Or do you agree and you are Team Pittsburgh and think that Pittsburgh has some of the best culinary stuff in the world right now, like we do, because it's amazing. All right. With that being said, guys, first of all, I want to say thank you to Bl1ndn3rd for being our guest today. It's been an absolute awesome and honor having you on here, man. Having a former student be here is really cool. And just getting a take of another Pittsburgher, too. We haven't had a Pittsburgh on here before, so that's kind of cool, too. Let the people out there know where they can find more of you and maybe watch some more of the stuff that you got out there or see some more of the stuff that you got out there.
Sure. So my name everywhere is Bl1ndn3rd with a 1 and a 3 in the I and the E slots. I made that when I was very young, and I stuck to that brand pretty much everywhere. So
it fits. It's good.
And any kind of I have plans to do more streaming at some point. I had a very short-lived Minecraft streaming thing I did.
Nice.
And I do post TikToks. I'm going to start doing a lot more Magic the Gathering and D&D stuff on.
Nice. Do you have a Twitch channel?
Yes, actually, it's the same as my username.
Gotcha.
It needs updated, but it's there.
It's all right.
People can follow it.
They know where to find it. Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's awesome, man. That is awesome. Well, thank you so much again for being a guest here today, sir. Much appreciated. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, make sure you guys like the video or the podcast if you're just listening. If you guys want to catch more of the stuff that we've got here, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and or podcast. There's a ton of you out there that are listening to these things and not subscribing. I would highly encourage you guys to subscribe so you don't miss anything. It would be greatly, greatly appreciated, folks. Last but not least, if you would like to join the live recording of this, I mentioned it earlier, but just in case you were not here or listening before for that, we do record this live over on Twitch. So if you guys want to participate with the chat as we are doing the recording here, make sure you guys head over to Shaka08 on Twitch and you can join the live recording. All right, folks, until next, actually, speaking of which, real quick, we will be on a 3-week hiatus because I'm going to be on vacation. We will see you for the next Shawk Talk Tuesday in July officially, guys, is when we will be back. So catch you in July for Shawk Talk Tuesday, everybody. Have a good rest of your night. Have a good rest of your weekend, all, and we will see you next time.
Welcome on in and take a seat. Conversations that can't be beat. Music and movies to name a few. Sports and drinks and tiramisu. This is a podcast for everyone. Time to chat and have some fun. Shawk Talk, Shawk Talk. Time to chat and have some fun. Shawk Talk, Shawk Talk. This is a podcast for everyone. Shawk Talk. Shawk Talk. Shawk Talk. Shawk Talk.